Hi, I'm Alison. I'm the founder and the chief exec of the Enterprise Centre, which is where you are today. We do all sorts of things here, from alternative education, working with equine therapy ponies, through to women's confidence building programmes, step-up programmes, and we also now have a friendship hub and pavilion, can't even say it, over there, which we're doing different classes with. This on the left-hand side is our claim to fame for the Climate Change Fund. We've now managed to have these solar panels put in. What I'd really like to do is the education centre, which we've got at the back, which is a timber building, was the first thing that we could afford to do with not very much money. It's got a leak in the roof because the roof has not got the right angles on it. If we were lucky enough to try and find some other funds, we would put more solar panels on there so we could become absolutely self-sufficient for energy going forward, and that would be awesome. So that's us going forward. Thank you very much for the funds, and as you can see, they've been well spent.
Hi, my name's Alistair Waddle and I'm a volunteer with the Bury Greenwood Group. And the Bury Greenwood Group meet on a Thursday morning here at Phillips Park at the Barn Countryside Centre. And after a few years of coming here, they invited me to join the board to help run the barn as a facility for Bury Council. So we applied for the Climate Action Fund money to start to develop a plan for to reach carbon zero for this building. And the first part of the job that we did was to ask for a survey to be done to decide what elements we needed to do on the building. And this we got done by Groundworks, who came along and spent a day looking at all our energy needs and energy resources, and they came back with a report for us. And from that report we applied for funding from the Climate Action Fund for new LED lighting throughout the whole building and for solar panels. Well, if the opportunity came up again, what we'd like to do is start looking at how we can insulate the building. The challenges we've got are that there are no lofts in the building. So everybody says, oh, put loft insulation in, but in actual fact, the timbers of the ceiling match the rafters of the roof, so we can't do that sort of thing. Also, we have solid thick walls. This used to be a cow shed, and they didn't make cavity wall for cow sheds in years gone by. So one of the issues we've got is the potential of damp coming in from the side, not rising damp, but from the side here we've got a ditch. So we've got to do some building maintenance. And because we're a volunteer group, we don't have large amounts of resources and money. So the only way we can start doing this sort of work is through grant funding.
Hi everyone, my name's Hannah. I'm chair of Friends of Clarence Park. We are a fairly new group, recently, just post-pandemic, that we've started to do some really good projects in the park, one of which is our bike library. Quite a lot of the Climate Action Fund went towards our lovely bike library and some growing space over in the Secret Garden over that way. So we have 8 bikes in total, 2 Strider bikes and some more adult bikes. Each have been labelled by me and they're free for anyone to borrow. We really want to encourage people to use their own power, so use bikes on short journeys. We are really quite local to Bury Town Centre. It's very much a cyclable distance, and if we can really encourage people to get on the bikes and get moving rather than going a short and very congested route into Bury from here. We've also got a really nice green growing space, and we'd like to encourage people to help grow their own vegetables. Even if they've not got space for it, they can use our space. There's been some talk about getting some electric bikes to maybe encourage older people who perhaps might not be quite as fit to ride back up the hill from Bury, or possibly as well some trikes for people who are perhaps a little bit less sure on a standard bike. That one's still sort of in the thinking process, but we'll get there with it. We would also, I'd love to do more growing in our green space as well.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Ian McKinnon. I'm Phillips Park Reserve Officer with Lancashire Wildlife Trust, and we're here at Phillips Park. We're undertaking hedge laying at the moment and dead hedging. So our aim is to improve biodiversity through habitat management, and what we've got behind us is a dead hedge, so material from our processed hedge stacked together to create like habitat piles. So you get a ton of wintering insects, and hibernating mammals will utilise this and break down the material and utilise it fully. We're laying the hedge behind us, which is making a stock-proof hedge, but also improving biodiversity through having many species laid down and creating a dense network of intertwining trees. It also acts as a wildlife corridor, interlinking our wildlife habitats between each other. It acts as a runoff for pollution in between agricultural fields and sensitive habitats. It reduces wind erosion, and it provides cover for our livestock as well, which originally is why the hedges were laid, in order to make a livestock-proof barrier. Okay, so the Climate Fund has funded my post as a staff member. It's funding our tools and these volunteer supervision parties. And yeah, it's basically funding management work on the park to have the ecosystem functioning as well as it can be, by removing non-native species as well, which are our second biggest threat to biodiversity. If I got more money, I would undertake further management where the site does suffer from invasive species, like really quite badly. We've got rhododendron, Japanese knotweed and Himalayan balsam all on site. So with further funding, it would be to tackle those invasive species and try and manage and get rid of as much as what is physically possible with any funding.
So I'm Dan, I'm from Prestwich Environmental Forum, and the Bury Climate Funding has supported a project called Plastic Free Prestwich. We work with a great charity called Surfers Against Sewage, and we sort of join up and support independent local businesses and community groups of all different shapes and sizes, primarily sort of trying to reduce or remove single-use plastics that's unnecessary. We've had a really good response from lots of groups and businesses, and there's a lot of enthusiasm to protect our environment in Prestwich. It's a really supportive project, so we don't look to punish businesses that are using plastics. We just try to help them identify the simple, easy ways that they can reduce them, and a lot of them are doing that work themselves. They just don't always realise it, and where we can put little bits of help in, and then we also help sort of celebrate and promote that around the community. So through Prestwich Environmental Forum, we have loads of different projects going on. We've had loads of ideas from our members about how we can grow the kind of waste and single-use plastic side of things beyond what we're doing. So if there was more funding available, we'd love to take on other projects and do things a bit more exciting.
So my name's Liz Postlethwaite, and I have been involved with the Bury Climate Hub project, which has been a partnership between Bury Climate Action and other interested folk from across Bury. So what our project was kind of a research project to ask local communities, if we had a climate hub in Bury, what might it look like? So what we did, we had pop-ups in each of the townships in Bury, asking about people are interested in being involved in creating those unique solutions. And I think what's really interesting and really clear as well is the climate crisis is a convergence of lots of different crises around cost of living, around transport, around work. And as soon as you start to frame the climate conversation around those kind of intersectional challenges, then people see the relevance as well. So yeah, it's been great, and it'll be interesting to see how that learning is taken forward in terms of how that hub might develop.
Right, well, I'm Caroline and we're members of the Whitefield Environmental Forum.
Yeah, and I'm Chris, and we're also members of Love Spring Water Park, which is why we had a major tree planting exercise in the park here.
And I'm Felicity, part of the Whitefield Environmental Forum as well.
And the Whitefield Environmental Forum developed from Prestwich Environmental Forum. We were going to have a big session, but with COVID, we stayed with Prestwich for a while, and then when COVID finished, we moved on.
Yeah. And we're aiming to continue the Wild in Whitefield project in terms of searching out sites within Whitefield.
It has brought people together,
Oh, yeah.
particularly the schools, and people have enjoyed it.
And when we had the planting day here, there were all kinds of people you'd never met before, from the local community, young families, older folks.
Yeah.
Well, we did have a sort of, we started thinking about a Go Local project, haven't we? Which was basically about introducing people to the wildlife on the wild and then the green areas on their doorstep, and the quality of them, and the abundance of wildlife in an area like this, in the hope that the more people get engaged with our Whitefield greenery and the more enthusiasm, there'll be more of a drive to tackle climate change and protect the areas. Yeah.